The ferocious winds and torrential rain have, for now, relented. But the storm, which has pounded much of Britain over the last 24 hours, has claimed 2 lives. Around the country, tens of thousands of homes are still without power. In Somerset and the Thames Valley, floodwaters are expected to rise as the rain from the past few days continues to drain off the hills into the rivers. Jane Dodge reports.
It looks more like the aftermath of a bomb attack. Rubble still strewn across the road next to Holborn Tube Station. The car, a taxi, was parked outside a Lebanese restaurant last night. The driver, a woman, and 2 passengers were inside when large pieces of masonry fell 6 stories onto the roof of the vehicle below. The large amount of rubble shows just how strong the winds must have been here last night. The Met Office recorded speeds of more than 55 miles an hour in parts of central London. The masonry flattened the roof of the car. The woman inside died at the scene. She's been named as Julie Silito from North London. This image shows the building before the incident. The triangular piece of masonry at the top of the building was blown off in its entirety. High winds at sea caused the death of a second person yesterday, the circumstances just as random as the first. A man died after being injured on board the Marco Polo cruise ship. The 85-year-old had just sat down for lunch. Another passenger told Channel 4 News waves were so high they were coming up to the windows.
Suddenly there was a giant crash and one of the windows gave way and glass went flying, and more importantly, the water just came pouring in because there's a huge volume of water behind that wave, and it scattered everything. People, furniture, all washed away, and there's complete mayhem.
Those winds of up to 80 miles an hour brought down trees and power lines. 140,000 homes were left without electricity. Just when people in flooded Raysbury in Berkshire thought it couldn't get any worse, it did.
What's happened is a large liandi tree from a hedgerow between these 2 properties has fallen down, and it's leaning on the cable to the left-hand property that you can't see. It's behind the hedgerow there. And those people have been evacuated because they're worried that the tree will sever the cable and then the live feed will go in the water.
A severe flood warning is still in place here, one of 19 across southern England. And the worry now is that levels will rise again as the River Thames swells from the runoff from higher ground. The police are taking us to see an elderly couple. They're in their late 80s. They've been unable to leave their house for the last 2 weeks. The house is surrounded by water, and the boiler that heats the house has just stopped working. Jack Pengelly's neighbours have provided him and his wife with electric heaters and food. The couple are determined to stay put. That river looks very high and fast to me. Are you concerned that it may still rise?
No, not at the moment.
I am only about the rain that fell last night, because it's got to still come down from Maidenhead way. But they seem to have it under control.
The water's dropped so much that even with the weather we've had, it certainly won't come up to that level.
In Milford-on-Sea in Hampshire, diners had to be rescued by the army after huge waves pelted the windows with stones. They'd been celebrating Valentine's Day at a restaurant close to a sea wall. The Prime Minister was out and about again today, this time in Chertsey in Surrey. He said his heart went out to those people affected by the flooding. But Jack and Beryl Pengelly don't feel hard done by. They say others are far worse off, like the tens of thousands of people who are still without power tonight.